First you fail. That's a concept I probably heard from somebody else, but started kind of embracing recently. The idea being that if you want to improve something, if you want to get better at something, almost by definition, by logical definition, you're not good at it yet, or at least not good enough. So when you go to do it, right, because you have to practice it, you have to work at it, you have to try it, you have to figure out what's not working to get better. When you go to do that, you're going to fail at first. And that's hard for people. It's simple to understand, right? It's a relatively intuitive concept, but to actually go through it, to actually experience that failure and have to deal with that discomfort that comes with it, particularly if you're a high achiever, or if you're a people pleaser, or if you're insecure, right? Any of those vulnerabilities around it, it could be super difficult to be okay with that failure. And I feel like I am in one of those zones right now. I tend to struggle with being overwhelmed. I'm somebody who wants things to be in order and work the way they're supposed to work. I'm not actually like I'm not a neat person. I'm not a clean person. So it's not like I have like an OCD type thing of everything needs to be perfect and in order. But I do like things to be settled. I do like, I guess if I was putting it bluntly about myself, like I like to be comfortable. I like to know things are okay and things are in order, and I don't have to worry too much about things, and I can handle it. It can go at my pace. If you think of like the whole "it's easy when it's easy, it's hard when it's hard" concept, it's right in that. Like I like when it's easy. I like that. I like when things are okay in that realm. When it gets hard, and for me, when it gets hard is when there's a lot of things, and now I'm a little bit overwhelmed. And I say I'm in that zone now because there's some things piling up. We recently just got a new dog, so that's always a little bit of a transition, and it shakes up the schedule, and it shakes up the routine, and you got to do different things, and you got to figure things out. That's probably the biggest impetus of it. But beyond that, work is a little bit busy. I'm trying to do more with this stuff, so I'm trying to podcast more. Some things going on with my wife, like somewhat the normal stuff, but some additional things. And what I'm noticing is that I'm not handling it well, right? The signs of it are there. I'm a little bit more short-tempered. I'm a little bit angrier more of the time and frustrated, and I'm a little bit more stern and shorter with my son, and I feel like I find myself yelling at him a little bit more and trying to correct him on things. I guess just generally the way I would put it is I feel like more of the day I'm in a state of discomfort versus a state of pleasure. And I'm aware enough to see that. I'm aware enough to know I don't like that, and that's not where I want to be. But what's interesting, tying it back to the beginning of this video, is what's really bothering me about it is that I'm failing. And I'm uneasy with that. And I should add, I forgot one piece. I'm also trying to lose weight. So I have a jiu-jitsu competition coming up, which is a big thing for me. I want to get better at that. I want to, be less nervous and handle my fear better. So that's on the list too. But as part of that, I kind of committed to that I was going to get to a certain weight for that competition. And I'm not there yet. And I'm not necessarily getting there. So that adds to it. So this feeling of failure, of all this stuff is going on, and I'm not handling it the way I should be handling it. Even the weight loss piece of it, I'm not sticking to the diet as strictly as I should. I'm not exercising. I am exercising, but not as much as I probably need to. Like last night, for example, I was going to do a run at the end of the night, and I didn't do it. I whatever you want to call it. I was weak. I let my subconscious win. I just seek the pleasure of it. I actually started the run. I was like, 30 seconds into it, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And I ended up doing the bike instead. So it's not like a complete loss, but for me, I know I'm failing. And the tough part is being okay with that, because I'm not good at handling a lot of things. I'm not good when I feel overwhelmed. This is what I have to go through to get better. But again, intellectually, I get that. But in the moment when it's happening, I hate it. It creates so much discomfort. I don't like feeling like a failure. I don't like committing to something and not delivering on it. I don't like the sensation of maybe I'm falling backwards and I'm starting to slip, because I used to be able to do things and handle it and manage it, and now I'm not. But it's easy when it's easy. It's hard when it's hard. Things are hard now, right? So I got good when things were easier. Now I'm pushing myself. Now I'm trying to get better even when things get harder and more challenging, and at first you fail. So I guess I'm making this video as much as a therapy for myself to remind myself of that, and not to give myself a break, right? Because I don't want the cognitive out. I just want to be realistic and say, hey, this is part of the process. So it sucks. It should fucking suck, right? That's the motivation. That's where that comes from. But don't let it discourage you. Don't let it bring you all the way back to another place where it's like, well, fuck it all. Like, none of it, man. I'm not going to achieve any of it, or I can't do the things I say I'm going to do, or I'm not that strong, or I'm not whatever, right? Like, this is the time. This is the time to build that muscle. This is the time to get better. And I have to be humble and courageous and vulnerable and mentally tough and all those things. I have to be enough of all of those things to say, if I mean what I say and I actually want to get better, then this is the fire that I need to go through. Dealing with all this shit, dealing with being overwhelmed, dealing with failing, dealing with not being good enough in this moment so that I can get through that and get better and eventually to succeed. This is what it has to be. And if I can remember that and I can do that, then I know I'll be okay. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And as I always talk about, my mind, my subconscious is screaming at me, telling me, like, you don't need to deal with all this discomfort. Just go back to the comfort zone. But that's the trick, right? That's the trick. If you want to get better, at first you fail.